Skyrim just had its 13th birthday, and I haven't played in over a year, so naturally it's time to play Skyrim again, but as 13 is the unluckiest number, I decide to do the absolute worst run I can think of. Can you beat Skyrim with nothing? Technically no, you can't. You need shouts as part of quests to progress, and quest items are a thing, so I decided to do the next best thing I can think of. Can you beat Skyrim with almost nothing on legendary difficulty? The rules are simple. I must complete the main quest of Skyrim and cannot use weapons, armor, clothing, items, potions, spells, powers, followers, gold, or anything else in this playthrough. Quest items will be allowed only to complete the quests they are a part of, and I will also be allowing unarmed strikes and shouts since we need a source of damage. I am also not allowed to gain experience this run, so we'll be staying at level 1. This means all I have is my birthday suit and my loud mouth, so I pick Khajiit as my race and name him Kenny the Catman and start my journey in Helgen.
Give them their last rites. As we commend your souls to Aetherius, blessings of the 8 divines upon you.
For the love of Talos, shut up and let's get this over with.
I guess he preferred his last laughs.
Next, the cat.
Eat the cat, eat the cat.
Alduin here is the rendition of the song, and now it's time for me to make like a mouse. We run through Helgen all the way to the keep, meet up with Ralof because the Stormcloaks haven't called me a slur today, and dump our gear on the sleepy nearby. Now we're ready for the run. Time to teach the Empire some manners. Thankfully, I have this country bumpkin to take up all this damage because our damage makes us look like a real pussy cat. The captain is directionally challenged, so she goes down to illegal back of the head strikes, and the soldier to natural selection and predation. As I prepare to make my way through the keep, a familiar face flashes into my mind.
Anyone else feel like running?
And while my heart tells me to smite all who oppose me, my head tells me to book it faster than a librarian on Adderall and meth. I mean, they're technically the same thing anyway. Finally out of the keep, but no time to wait around for Ralof. He was a good man. Rest in peace, friend. I make my way to Riverwood, conveniently leave out the part where I left my rescuer to rot in the keep, and run to another place where people tend to rot. Here we are at Bleak Falls Barrow. I will take the side route because the year is 2024 and I'm too much of an introvert to make friends. Plus, these guys don't seem like the friendly type. I watch a man lose his cognitive functions in real time, give in to my primal cat urges, wait an hour for my health to heal up, which I'll be doing a lot of this run since no potions and all, and punch my way through the web. I run past the giant spider because spiders are icky, and punch past Arvel's web. Take out the Swifty here, sneak past the definitely dead undead Deathwalkers, miss the jugular by 2 inches, reload my save through the door because Skyrim Special Edition. Just gotta make my way past. I calmly and composedly make my way past the last set of Draugr, remember the combo like a boss. Skyrim memories never fade. Time to speed read some chicken scratch and get ready for our first real fight of the run. This is what legendary difficulty does to a kitty. Now, as anyone who has played Skyrim enough can tell you, Skyrim's combat AI is not the best, and you can pretty much bob and weave in and out of attacks to bait out attacks from different short-range enemies, like Draugr. The only problem is I don't have any armor, so I have to play perfectly. So, not like that. And sometimes the range is just crazy. About 6 attempts later, I managed to catch a break and pretty much no-hit the Draugr Overlord. Well, I got hit by a shout, so I did a low-hit run, huh? Alright. I get stoned and run my way to Whiterun, and if you think I'm looking for any fights, think again. That Draugr Overlord is pretty much how every major fight this run is gonna go. I have to play close to perfectly until I get access to my shouts, and there's no way to heal either. I punch a guard, so he takes me to jail. Oop, can't keep my new clothes. And here we are at Dragon's Reach. Nice place to release prisoners, guys. Like, let's just take the guy who just punched a guard straight to the palace. I'm sure that'll go over well. We talk to Jarl Balin, turn in the Dragonstone.
You are cut from a different cloth than the usual brutes the Jarl foists on me.
Well, I only have the one cloth. After pestering Balgruuf for the next 10 seconds, I decide my time is probably better spent doing the thing the Dragonborn is most known for. Hanging back and letting others fight my battles for me. None of these guys are followers, so no, it doesn't count. Comment section. Thankfully, the watchtower has these windows I can watch the fight from. How convenient. After a solid minute of playing spectator, I decide my time is probably best spent actually fighting the thing I came here to fight, and in retrospect, this was a horrible decision. And there's a reason why I save scum in this run every time there's a break in the action, because if the dragon gets to bend the laws of space and time and teleport you to its mouth, I get to abuse the quick save button. Don't at me. After being roasted harder than a nerd on Kill Tony a few times, we're able to enforce the no-fly zone and wail on this bad boy. This little area behind the dragon's legs is the closest thing to a safe area that we can get to, so while my soldiers hold the aggro because I sure as hell can't damage him enough to make him notice, I'm able to slice enough arteries to finally put an end to this fight. Only took me 10 minutes for the easiest dragon fight in the whole game, so that's going to be a great expectation for later. I absorb all the hopes and dreams of this giant lizard and immediately fast travel to Dragon's Reach, where the Greybeards rudely interrupt my conversation with the Ballster. After rejecting the gift the literal leader of the city gave me himself right in front of him like a Chad, I steal a horse and hoof it to Riverwood, because we have a mountain to climb. After making it to High Hrothgar, it hits me. We may be at the home of the Greybeards, but we're really only halfway up. After all, what's an 80-degree slope to a Skyrim horse? I make it to the throat of the world with no trouble, thanks to the steel buns on this fine specimen, and now it's time to talk to these lonely old men secluded in a monastery on the top of the world's tallest mountain. Surely nothing bad will happen to any young disciples that come to visit. I read a few words, learn through osmosis, go supersonic, and get set on the path to get the horn of Jurgen Windcaller. Now, I can't take a carriage to Morthal due to the money restriction, so I'm going to fast travel to Whiterun and steal—
By the word of the Jarl. Stop right there.
In hindsight, I probably could have just told him I'm the Thane, but whatever. After serving time for stealing a horse, I immediately steal another horse and hoof it to Ustengrav. I meet a few puppers on the way, pass through the Labyrinthian, which is surprisingly not very labyrinthine, and make it all the way to Ustengrav. Once again, it's time to test these little cat legs. You're probably asking why I'm skipping the Fime word wall here. I don't know either. Dislike the video, who gives a damn? I pass another test of pure speed because I'm fast as f***, boy. Catch myself on fire out of irony, punch my way through a web, and grab Delphine's note. And after making it back to Riverwood, I notice some suspicious maskers in the back there. I'm going to avoid them. We don't talk to maskers here. I meet a horny Delphine who escorts me to her secret basement where we talk about rising and roughhousing with a certain dragon. She could have at least taken me to dinner first. I go back to the Greybeards for the final word of unrelenting force, promptly get my eardrums destroyed, head back to Whiterun to steal—
You have committed crimes against Skyrim and her people.
Okay, dude. Blah, 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 steal another horse, and by the power of editing, here we are at Kynesgrove, ready to face down another of Alduin's goons. The fight is pretty much the same as the dragon at the Watchtower, only now I can only rely on this little devil child to tank up all the hits. You know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend or something like that. After getting charred like a pet in suburban Ohio, I'm able to consistently get behind Salaknir and swipe his tail enough for him to expire due to minor annoyance, much like my daily routine. I head back to Riverwood to plan our party crash against the Thalmor, and aside from getting my fur coat matted and disgusting from the sewer runoff, let's just say I did not have a great time. You see, everything was going fine until we snuck into the back rooms where most of the enemies were. I was able to run past the initial guards and make it into the Solar, but it was a one-way trip. Eventually, I was able to leverage my cat-like reflexes and obtain the Thalmor dossier on Esbern, but I was hit with a realization that hit me like a fist in a drunken damp trailer park in rural Oklahoma. The trap door to the reeking cave is locked and I don't have the key. And let's just say I was locked in with them thanks to Skyrim's loading time. And with the Thalmor's magic attack and my lack of damage, there's no way to fight my way out. I decide to reload my quick save to before encountering the Thalmor and manage to get past the courtyard again. Thankfully, the Thalmor can't follow me through this door, and the main guard is facing away from me this time, which is perfect for my divine feline serpentine. So the way Skyrim detection works is it's based on line of sight, the weight of your equipment, the speed of your movement, and the light level around your character. Now, entering into sneak mode would help me sneak, pretty crazy, right? But I'm not allowed to gain experience this run, so I have to get creative. I tried slowly walking past the guards and catching them by surprise, which didn't work. I tried bum rushing to Etienne Rarnus to get him to unlock the trapdoor because I thought it was quest gated, but it didn't work. I somehow managed to find a basket and placed it over Rulindil's head to block his vision. I then disappeared from existence behind a see-through wall and door and let Etienne lead the way, and that's when I realized it. There must be a real key to unlock the trapdoor because Etienne didn't try to escape that way. Listen, it's been a while since I've played Skyrim, and I forgot the particulars of this particular quest, okay? Also, I'm literally doing the most difficult thing I can think of immediately upon returning, so I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. Please don't roast me too hard in the comments, please. My only choice is to reload my save and try a little tomfoolery. I grab a trusty bucket and make my way up to the embassy. Listen, I didn't put it in my inventory, so it counts. Shut up. Skyrim then punishes me for being so rude to my viewers in the most Skyrim way possible. I pass through platform 9 3/4, get back to the Solar before the party starts, and lo and behold, we have a trapdoor key in the most unexpected place. I kid you not, I was fucking floored at this. Freedom is just a turn of the page away. I leave Etienne to his interrogation and head out the trapdoor, straight to my freedom like a stray. I immediately fast travel to Riverwood, and would you look at that, the quest updated! Skyrim has been successfully bamboozled, boys. Now to find an old man in a sewer. There's no way I can go through the north or south gate without gaining experience, and I don't have any money, and I could go to prison, but luckily I can cut through the Blackbriar meadery to bypass all that. No skill checks today. I run through the Ratway and the Ratway vaults, and pull up on Esbern, who's scrambling to grasp the situation. After a few tries, I manage to blow past my Thalmor captors with my blinding speed, and make my way out of the Ratway vaults. Alright, there we go. After a brief, very emotional reunion, it's time to head to Karthspire. After smacking a dragon on the way and dying to another many times, I managed to swing past the Reachman, solve puzzles built for 3-year-olds, become a mentally ill goth kitty to unlock the door, and read Alduin's Wall to learn I need the Dragon Ren shout to defeat the rogue shard of the Akatusk himself. That's right, boys, I know the deep lore in this game. By the way, don't go look at my lore vids, they're embarrassing. I learned how to make the weather all sunny and whatnot, fast travel to the throat of the world because I can't be bothered, and meet the voice actor for Mario. No, I'm not joking. We breathe fire on him because it's cold as hell up here, and he tells me to go find an Elder Scroll. Well, how convenient of a task that is. Time to go to the only man mad enough to know where one is. After rambling about his sap turning the Argonians gay, which is a real thing in Elder Scrolls, by the way, we receive the Lexicon and Attunement Sphere and make our way to Ofthand. A learned Skyrim player would know that you can just use a bucket to bypass the Grand Lifts, but as if my sadism wasn't off the charts enough, I decide to chance a speed run through the dungeon just to see if it's crazy enough to work. Running past the Dwemer automatons was easy enough. Even the spheres couldn't keep up with this pinnacle of athleticism. I guess they decided to lump the athletics attribute into racial height scaling and player skill, which I can take advantage of. Now the real challenge is getting past the Falmer, and let me tell you, they don't mess around. That's a one-shot, by the way. And they don't miss, boys. We gotta do a different level of Skyrim parkour. No! Gotta make a right turn here, it turns out. We take those. Freedom! I fraternize with the locals who turn out to not be on a mushroom-only diet, put our ball into the hole, and enter the Cave of Wonders. I find my way to the one tower without Falmer in it, conveniently enough, put in the crystals, press a few buttons, and take the scroll. I use the power of Elder Scrolls bullshit, learn the reverse Uno card shout, and prepare myself for the hardest fight in the entire run. Alright, let me tell you what the deal is. I am just a humanoid cat with claws and shouts and nothing else. And for the most part, I can only survive a hit or two. It's not looking good. My first plan was to have Parthenax fight Alduin by shouting both of them with Dragon Rend while I dodge meteors. And that does work for a bit, but Parthenax does not have infinite health and goes down relatively fast. And by the way, he does not heal or come back. He's like this for the rest of the fight. After thinking for a brief moment, I realized that a giant god dragon versus a mortal cat with magic words isn't the best matchup, so I decide to flee to wait out the storm and return thinking I can cheese the healing. But no, this motherfucker comes with full health, and I do so little damage it doesn't even move his health bar, and I can't rely on Parthenax because he'll go down a quarter of the way through. If you want to do the math, according to the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, I'm attacking with claws which deal 22 damage when combined with base damage for each strike, but I'm on legendary difficulty, which makes NPCs take a quarter of the damage that I deal, and Alduin has a damage resist perk, which makes him take half damage from all sources. So I'm dealing like 3 damage per strike here, and that's not very good. What the fuck? Did my voice just crack? Not only that, but I take 3 times normal damage, which is basically a one-shot for any direct hit. So yeah, not looking too good. Not good indeed. Also, Alduin at the lowest is level 10 with 2,355 health in total, so I have to hit him a lot. and he can teleport me into his mouth at any point like the first dragon. This basically results in me baiting him into attacking Parthenax, me quick saving between each hit, and then going for the 3 damage I can get. And you also have to time your quick save well because it's very easy to get hammered by a meteor right after, and then you're in a death loop. After about 12 straight minutes of back and forth action, Parthenax goes down finally, with Alduin at about 2/3 of health remaining. He fought so hard for me. Please pour one out for the boy. But of course that makes me enemy number 1 against a giant time god dragon who can devour the world and me in one single hit if I don't play my cards right. The fight seemed impossible. How could I even get close to this thing when he has frost breath I can't dodge and a tail that can nail me from another zip code? My confidence was severely shot and I was starting to think that this might be where I met my match. This run is impossible. But something caught my eye out of nowhere. Every time I shout Alduin down out of the sky, he always seems to land in the same place. Not only that, but he always lands facing east, and with a decently long landing animation, enough for me to get a couple of hits in. And as luck would have it, there's a rock just the right size to hide behind for me to avoid any damage whatsoever, as long as I dodge the meteors. And his mouth. After another 30 minutes of dodging, dipping, diving, ducking, and dodging, I finally managed to whittle his health down enough for him to stop flying. I should be celebrating, right? Well, I did for a second, but now Alduin has no way of flying for me to shout him back down in the same position, in the same landing animation for me to deal 3 damage per strike. We've officially hit an impasse for melee combat. Initially, I wasn't going to include shouts in this run, which is why I didn't use them at all up to this point, except for when they're needed for quests. But now we have no choice, it's our only chance. Starting out, I use a fully charged Unrelenting Force shout for the range, however the cooldown is 45 seconds, and this deals a measly 10 base damage for shout, which is like 1 or 2 damage on legendary against Alduin. So basically, I can attack for 10 damage every minute while dodging meteors, sometimes unsuccessfully. And eventually, I look it up on UESP that even the first tier Fire Breath shout deals much more damage at 50 base fire damage, plus the burning effect, which is usually about 10% lingering damage afterward, and the cooldown is 30 seconds. So this is a much better choice, even though the range is shorter. I slogged through this fight like a damn snail on a salt trail and a hot plate in the middle of France, dodging breath attacks and dealing my own damage for about 7 damage a pop. Parthenax gives horrible advice, and after 2.5 hours of constant fighting, I finally put down the big bad. And yes, you heard me right, 2.5 hours. I take Parthenax's advice and convince Jarl Balin to help me capture a dragon, which leads me to Arngeir to convince him to hold a peace council, and we convince both General Tullius and Ulfric Stormcloak to come to the peace council, kick out Eluin because f*** the Thalmor, and practice the art of the deal on this war. Esbern tells me to unalive Parthenax or he can't help me, and then immediately helps me by giving me the dragon's name. After calling the dragon over and luring him into the trap, at first he's a bit hesitant to help me, but after Farengar's secret dragon anus torture technique, I'm able to catch a flight to Skuldolphin. This is the home stretch of our adventure, boys. I managed to stunt on these hoes and solve puzzles while kiting attacks, making my way through the dungeon at a breakneck pace before meeting an old foe, the old Draugr Overlord, and he has the call I need, so I can't skip him. You've pretty much already seen this fight at the start of the video, so I'll skip to the part where I beat this cheap Halloween bone bag into dust, use the Diamond Claw, sprint into Sovngarde, and prepare myself for the final battle. After abusing my way around the nav mesh in between fire breath shouts, I get the final bit of damage on Sun and reunite with my meat shields in the Hall of Valor, and I mean that in the literal sense. Despite them knowing the shout, I decide to break the ice with Dragon Rend and proceed to chill out a decent distance away while they do the work for me. The meteors are still pretty dangerous, so the only time I hop out of my hidey hole is to shout at Alduin again to keep him grounded for my small squad of legends. After a bit, I do get bored and decide to take a few swipes, but I do get humbled by some meteors while out in the open. And it turns out Alduin still does a metric ton of damage. We managed to escape, and I actually found this tiny peephole I can hide behind and still shout from a safe distance away. After Alduin becomes completely grounded, Sun decides to join the fight, and I'm not just going to be left behind without some fun. Time to finish the job. Yes, this is it! This is the end of the run! For the lore, baby. Unrelenting Force. what a damn run, man. That was Skyrim on Legendary difficulty with literally nothing, only fists and shouts. No followers, no items, no spells, no powers, just a humanoid house cat with dragon shouts. Yes, dude, it feels so freaking good. Overall, it was definitely a pretty fun little challenge. There was that fight with Alduin at the throat of the world that was really annoying and time consuming. My total footage time is about 10 hours, and that one fight took about a quarter of it by itself, which is insane. But aside from that, I really enjoyed the difficulty, especially coming off of games like Black Myth Wukong and Elden Ring. Just the fact that there's no way to heal during combat unless you find a safe place, and your damage is so lopsided makes it kind of fun in a way. You almost have to play perfectly in some areas. So if you're looking for a challenge, definitely give it a try. I completed the run in one weekend, so definitely not too bad time-wise. If you'd like to see more content like this, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you'd like to see next in the comments below. I'm pretty open in terms of games and runs. Until next time, I've been OSK. Thank you for watching.